Hey, these are 5 tips that are going to help you with your audio production in Logic Pro. Some of them are a bit more basic, and some of them are for if you're a little bit more experienced with Logic. Number 1, turn off all of Logic's safety features. If you are launching Logic for the first time, either coming from GarageBand or a different DAW, this is something you're going to want to do straight away. Essentially, what you're doing is turning off any of the safety features Apple have put on to stop you from destroying any audio. So here we are in a new project. What you're going to want to do is head up to Logic Pro, down to Preferences, down to Advanced Tools, and then from there you want to hit Show Advanced Tools. You can see them all here. And then what you're going to want to do is enable all. This is going to allow you to go even further with your audio production, even if that means you might have to learn from a few of your mistakes along the way. It's much better to learn now than it would be to make a mistake on a future bigger session. Tip number 2, change your pointer tool settings. This is a feature I only found out about very, very recently, and it's increased my workflow so much, and I would highly recommend it to anyone using Logic Pro. So what you're going to want to do for this one, head up to Logic Pro again, down to Preferences, General, to the Editing tab, and then down from there to Pointer Tool in Tracks Provides. And then you want to check both of these, the Fade Tool Click Zones and Marquee Tool Click Zones. So by checking these 2 tools, it makes your cursor just so much more usable in Logic. And I'm going to show you a few of the things it allows you to do now. So if you hover over the top corner of any audio file, what you can do is just drag, and you can fade in. So useful, so quick, and just such a necessary thing to have. Secondly, what you're going to have, if you go to the lower half of the audio file, down here, you're able to click and drag. Essentially what this will do is kind of create a zone that you can hit playback, you'll just hear that. You can also set a playhead point, where if you hit play, it will play from there. You stop, press play, it'll go straight back to there and do it again. This is going to make your cursor so much more functional within Logic, and it makes it similar to how Pro Tools cursor works if you've ever used that. If you have been using Logic for a while and haven't had these settings turned on, it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but I assure you it'll be fully worth it in the end. Number 3, splitting an audio clip at the playhead. So for years what I would do is put the playhead where I want to, highlight the track, click up here at split by playhead, and I'd just waste so much time if this was hidden and whatnot. What I do now is either just hit Command T, splits exactly where you are, or alternatively, if you listen to tip 2, you'll be able to just go to the lower half of the audio, double click, and you split the audio like that. Super quick, super easy, highly recommend. Tip number 4, change any samples BPM. This one is super useful, especially if you work with a lot of samples from Splice or anywhere else. So here's a little beat I just put together earlier, just to show you guys how this is going to work. So what I've already done is downloaded a sample from Splice at 120 BPM. As you can see up here, the project is at 109 BPM, so we're going to want to change that. So if we listen to it before we adjust it, you'll hear the sample is slightly out of time and just doesn't really fit with the song. Doesn't work at all. What you're going to want to do is head up to the track BPM up here and change that to the same BPM as the sample. So for me, it's 120. Change that. Don't worry if it moves stuff about, we're going to put it back later. And then from there, you're going to want to hit Command F to show flex on the tracks. Then you're going to want to hit Enable Flex on the track with the sample on. Then just put your project BPM back to the original, which in my case was 109. Hit that. And then your sample should be perfectly in time. A useful tool if you want to use more samples in your songs. Finally, number 5, project templates. I always like to use project templates when starting a new session. It just helps to speed up the process a little bit and stops me wasting time making tracks that I know I'm going to make anyway. So I may as well have them there at the click of a button, ready to go as soon as I am. I've got templates for full band demos, to acoustic songs, to voiceovers, essentially anything I might need at the drop of a hat. These are really going to speed up your workflow and reduce the time between having the idea and recording the idea, which is so important. So let's take a little look now at my band's demo project template. As you can see, on the left here, I've got all my channels set up, which I think I'm probably going to need. So we have my drums, which I've already got set up with my Get Good drums, modern and massive, which I love to use. This is also being sent to 2 buses, essentially just going to a little bit of EQ, some parallel compression, just stuff I know I'm going to use. So it may as well already be there, ready. If we keep on going, I've got my guitar tracks. I've got guitar left and right for my rhythm. Then I've got my guitar octave and my guitar lead, just in case I need to use them. And they're already all set up with my STL tones. Then I've got my bass, also on STL tones, a little bit of CLA bass. And finally, we've got the lead vocals with just a little bit of compression, a little bit of EQ and some reverb, just the essentials, just everything you're going to need to really get the project going as fast as possible. I really recommend you take the time to make templates for yourself so you can get that idea out of your head and into your computer as quick as possible. Can't even explain the amount of times I've gone to record, set everything up and completely forgotten the idea. It's not worth it. Make some templates. Hope these tips helped you out a little bit, either if you're just starting on Logic or you've been using it for a while now. Hopefully there was something for everyone. If you've got any of your own tips, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to know if I'm doing anything wrong. I probably am, and I'll see you in the next one.